What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Game Show Global Esports Cup. It's Game 2 between Signature Trust and MVP Phoenix. Probably the two teams you'd expect to be on the top of the group. But after Game 1, Signature Trust just looking a little bit stronger. They got a little bit behind in the early stages, but were able to bring it back and ended up claiming that victory. So Signature Trust grab another point. MVP Phoenix looking for a point after this win. We'll see if they can get it. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Daneliecasts for this second game, hoping to see something maybe a little bit different from MVP Phoenix, a little bit more MVP Phoenix-esque.
Not just that, but maybe something a little stable, because let's face it, MVP Phoenix has a lot of potential, and I know they can beat Signature Trust, but I think with the last game, it just went in, it was a disaster. If they can get the same early game as last game, but then they can follow that through for the rest of the game, then I think that's all MVP needs. They just need to remain stable for the entire duration of the game. But that's also completely dependent on how Signature Trust plays, because Trust can make it hard for Phoenix. But the thing is, can Phoenix overcome Trust? And from last game, Trust is so strong. They play so well. I think I've seen so many Signature Trust games, and they've taken games off of a lot of noteworthy Southeast Asian teams. So I think it's going to be difficult for Phoenix to come back and get a win. But it's possible, and it purely depends on how both of these teams are when it comes to execution. So Trust going to give, unfortunately, Phoenix a bit of a taste of their own medicine. Going to go for the tiny wisp themselves, whereas Phoenix, they go for the aggression. No, they go for the aggression with a Night Stalker and Queen of Pain pick.
Right, so obviously we just got done seeing an IO Tiny lose. That being said, I believe Signature Trust against First Departure Game 2 played IO Tiny, maybe Game 1, not really sure, but they have success with that one. Nagato's support play as the Tusk in the last game was absolutely insane, and now he's going to be, I assume, playing as the IO, so similarly mindseted heroes, at least for Nagato, for Signature Trust. MVP Phoenix, their response to the IO Tiny, well, they themselves banned out the Disruptor and the Winter Wyvern, which is a little bit awkward, because I'm pretty sure they would have loved to have either one of those heroes. I feel like at this point they kind of have to pick up a Witch Doctor or an Earthshaker, or just someone to have some way to interrupt that combo. Queen of Pain, I mean, as far as killing off IO Tiny, yeah, she's the damage component of it, but you really do need that lockdown component as well, and it's not really going to be the Night Stalker. Crippling Fear ends up being pretty good against the late game Tiny, but early on, yeah, delaying the Avalanche Toss for a couple seconds, not super valuable, at least not as valuable as a Disruptor glimpse back, as we just saw in the last game.
Absolutely. So it's an asset that Phoenix won't have, but I wonder what they're going to use to overcome the boundary, which is going to be that Tiny Wisp. I think Undying, kind of a step in the right direction. This does force the Night Stalker into a position 3 role, so he'll be moving into the offlane, I presume. I don't really like offlane Undying, so I prefer the Night Stalker to be the one farming. What are your thoughts on the Undying? Oh, and they're going to go for Bounty as well. This is quite greedy. This is very greedy. They don't really have a standard position 5 hero. Unless they go for a position 5 last, then what are these roles? Okay, I'm really lost now.
I think these are like the quote-unquote supporting heroes from VP Phoenix. You're looking at them. Again, I don't know if it's going to be the Undying or Night Stalker. I think I do like Undying getting some farm, but I think I like Night Stalker getting some farm just a little bit more, especially with this Bounty Hunter pick. This is MVP Phoenix going all in on the Snowball. They have to get the Snowball started early, because if they don't, I mean, they will be able to, in theory, recover a little bit of gold with the track, but to counterbalance an IO Tiny now with the Dazzle, good luck actually doing that. Bounty Hunter with Undying and Night Stalker and Queen of Pain, like, they all, again, are similarly aggressive heroes. They want to be always getting those kills. They need a last hero who can get paid off by that. A carry, a one-position hero who is more than okay with going aggressive and kind of sacrificing CS farm for hero kills. And, would be able to handle the IO Tiny in the later stages. That's a lot to ask for, but for MVP Phoenix, if they have a good start, like they had last time, it'll be really hard for them to throw away that good start.
God, I can't help but feel like they need control as well. Because you look at the current draft of heroes, they have a little bit of catch with the Bounty Hunter. You have an Undying there that's going to have a lot of crowd control. Queen of Pain for nukes. Night Stalker there is a sort of disruption, Tusky sort of hero. But they don't have proper catch. They don't have any sort of Blink Dagger stun heroes or Blink Dagger AoE sort of catch heroes. And a carry that does that, I think the only one I could possibly see is maybe like a early Blink Sven. But I don't think you'd want to be seeing a Sven in MVP's draft. There's so many melee heroes for MVP Phoenix, it's ridiculous. And that's a huge opportunity for an Earthshaker if he gets an early blink to get those huge Echo Slams off, for Tiny to get those multi-hero avalanche tosses. Spectre last pick? I don't know. It feels really greedy.
Kind of a curveball. This is 4 melee heroes now for MVP Phoenix. And that is about 2 more than you would really like in your draft. Signature Trust, I mean, they have the Tiny, they have the Earthshaker. But MVP Phoenix's ability to punish melee heroes, definitely not as much as the opposite. Like Tiny Earthshaker, they love going up against melee heroes. They got the cleave, they have the AoE magic damage, both of them do. Even Dazzle, however, to a lesser extent. Like if Earthshaker, Tiny are duking it out, you get a nice heal. MVP Phoenix are going to take a hell of a lot of damage because they just can't spread out to kind of dissipate that shadow wave. So that is going to be really painful. This is a hero that can capitalize on kills happening anywhere on the map. Like if Bounty Hunter, Night Stalker find themselves to target the Queen of Pain, it's like an Earthshaker out of nowhere. Spectre can haunt in, steal that kill, get some track gold, or at least, you know, get involved to get some track gold. And there is a lot of upside there for MVP Phoenix. It is going to give them their late game. And Spectre usually has a pretty good matchup up against Io Tiny in general in the late game, since Haunt is just really good versus the Io. That being said, this is going to really slow them down in getting off to that great start. A lot of stress is going to be put in this game on this level 6 Bounty Hunter, as you know it normally is, but also Night Stalker and Dying. They have to have a really good start.
This is really, it's a peculiar position to be in, and well, Trust are going to finish up with a Necrophos as a last pickup, and I think they could honestly get away with this. There will be aggression for MVP Phoenix, but it's mostly going to be a 4 versus 5 scenario, and I think Necrophos, he should be fine. There's not really that much burst outside of the Queen of Pain to really take down the Necrophos, and they still have to get past a Tiny Wisp. So I think Lakel's on this Necro pick, he should honestly be fine. And for Phoenix, they've got to be scared as well, because yeah, you can go into a late game scenario with the Spectre, but you have to potentially be worried about a Ag's Reaper's Scythe. And with no buyback, if a Spectre, who is your 6 slot hero, gets Reaper's Scythe to death and she has buyback but she can't, that could be game.
Spectre
so I think Phoenix
probably the carry that uses or that like relies on buyback the most, because it just because of Haunt. So I mean, down the line it's going to be relevant. But also, like, if you look at the sustain here for Signature Trust, Necrophos is like, I guess, a quote unquote carry hero, but he has a heal. Dazzle has a heal. Io has healing. MVP, they need to get these kills really quickly, and it's just not going to be that easy because, you know, the Signature Trust aren't like super outright tanky. The amount of sustain they have and their ability to just like kite back is actually insane, and it's going to be really hard for MVP to get those kills because, as you said, there are really no stuns on their side. There's a slow for Night Stalker and then a slow from a dagger. It's like almost irrelevant, the crowd control that MVP has. So if they're unable to get the burst kills, they might not get the kills at all.
Yeah, so again, this game is going to be purely execution based. Who manages to get their draft off to an early start? Who manages to turn the team fights around? Who knows? We're going to actually see who does this as the game progresses. So the unpause will happen. Do we introduce the players again, or should we just leave it as is? For people that have already been here, you know who's who. But for the new people, are we introducing, or should we leave it at that?
We're introducing. I'm going to take MVP.
Absolutely.
I believe in their ability to tie up the series. It's going to be Mental Protector on the Spectre. We got Pyre QO on the Queen of Pain. Febby is on the Roaming Bounty. We got March on the Night Stalker. Where the hell did the Undying go? It's Heen. Already teleported down here, placing an Observer Ward on that zombie.
So on the side of Signature Trust, we're going to have in this bottom lane, MyPro handling the Tiny. Lakel is going to be on this last pick, Necrophos. Nagato on the Wisp. Boombex on... Boombell, sorry. God, I get the names confused. Boombell on the Dazzle. Abba playing on the Earthshaker this time. And I believe I'm missing somebody, or did I? I got everyone. I got everybody. It's cool. It's fine.
Well, if anyone missed anything, here's everyone. You can see it all, but oh, Fissure gonna isolate Heen. He's gonna get a 3-man decay. He does have a way to get through these trees. Dagger gonna fly through onto everyone. Avalanche used as well. MyPro stuck on the front lines. Lakel's gonna land a pretty big death pulse, but has to be careful. They're really soft at this point. Heel's gonna keep Nagato up. Has a tether away in 2 seconds. Blink forward though, and Heen's gonna draw the kill, and they also get the kill on Necrophos afterwards. That is not quite as good as the start from MVP last game, but it is pretty damn close. And in this draft, more so than in the draft of last game, this early start is going to be so important for them. Signature Trust, oh, they put themselves in a really rough position before the runes even spawn.
I think the question now is, can MVP Phoenix maintain this lead? Because we saw last game, they had a tremendous lead against Signature Trust, but then Trust crawled back into the game and MVP were just nowhere to be seen from that. So can they maintain this lead? If they can, then I can definitely see them taking this game off of Trust. So we'll see how the lanes go. Queen of Pain up against a Tiny Wisp. There is a high chance for MyPro to get a kill into the Queen of Pain, but it's also up to QO as to whether or not he gives the Tiny that opportunity. So again, this mid lane won't be easy, but the Queen should be able to survive. Bottom lane for Abba. This Earthshaker is not really going to be receiving much harassment, aside from a Undying who he wants to pull, but he also wants to be harassing Abba down, so unfortunately he can't split your attention between both, so he's going to have to decide what he wants to go for, whether he lets the creep wave push or if he's going to actually stack up and pull the creep wave back. And I think for the moment he just wants to harass Abba down, but it's not really doing anything. It's making him a little bit squishier, but Spectre's not going to go up there and right click him all the time. Spectre wants to farm.
I guess in this situation you also kind of reduce his base damage, so you get like maybe him missing some CS over towards mid. However, they're going to jump towards Nagato. They've already dropped him pretty low. Pyrie's going to blink forward way too deep, but he's going to go for a courier instead. Just as good. He might even get this kill in addition. He's going to land the Shadow Strike. Io's going to try to bottle up. Worst case scenario, he gets denied right now. Although with one more bottle charge, it looks like the Io should be fine. They do get the kill on the Queen of Pain. However, losing the courier there is pretty darn costly here for the Signature Trust side. And yeah, it's going to be like a momentary slowdown here for the Quap, but she's going to jump right in towards MyPro. Throw a dagger almost for free because of the residual fountain regen. Drop him super low. And yeah, that is going to be like a small hit to the lane for a larger 3-minute window where Queen of Pain is going to have a decisive lead. This lane just got a lot harder all of a sudden for Signature Trust. And the subject of this Undying, I would rather like to see him pull, just because Earthshaker is going to be getting experience pretty much no matter what, even with Undying poking at him. But yeah, Heen is, regardless, getting level 2 and he's going to find a double damage rune. And that's something Shirky really doesn't want to deal with. They land the toss back onto the Queen of Pain, but this is where Queen of Pain has an advantage over, say, like a Shadow Fiend. She's able to just blink on out of there. She'll be fine.
Yeah, so we didn't really get to touch on too much on the Night Stalker who's going to be rolling in this offlane role. He seems to be doing pretty well, and unfortunately this Dazzle going to be caught out by the Bounty Hunter, so there should be a kill going in the way of MVP. Although he will pop the Grave off. Is this going to be enough to keep him alive? And looks like Febby wants to go for the commitment here, waiting for it to run out. He will get the last right click, and he's actually going to cop a lot of tower damage. He will go down in the meantime. But was that really worth it? I guess it is, considering it is just that roaming bounty. He is and the mid lane.
Charge in, avalanche into toss, no combo, just both of those skills used. And Queen of Pain, with so much stun duration, the right clicks from the IO is going to be able to get that kill. The kill in and of itself up towards top lane is worth it for Febby because he's getting experience. He's going to walk into a sentry in mid. Luckily for him, Tiny has no mana, but it looks like Febby's still thinking about it. Shouldn't think about it. He has Queen of Pain back in the lane, but Febby is going to clear out the sentry, and Pirate's actually going to jump forward. The dagger, the scream, I don't think that's going to be enough. It's only level 3 Quap at this stage. MyPro should be fine, but yeah, for Bounty Hunter, if you're trading yourself away for kills, and as long as you get the kill first, you're happy with that. Night Stalker, very happy with that, of course, but yeah, this is going to be a decent Bounty Hunter leveling game. Like, he's already level 3 minutes in. It's more or less as high as you can expect from a Bounty, but over towards mid, again, I have a toss onto the Queen of Pain. The toss will not connect, and the Queen of Pain will get away, but this is the lane starting to slip away from the Quap. The courier kill definitely gave her that little bit of an edge, and now the courier is back, but she didn't really make that much use of the momentary advantage in the lane, having a courier advantage. They're going to run into Nagato and MyPro again. This Tiny does have his full combo. This is a bad idea for the Quap. She'll just grab the rune, and that should just about be it.
Visibility.
Felt like Signature Trust was expecting the Night Stalker to be around the corner to possibly jump on them, because honestly, they should have just gone for the rune. There was no reason for them not to, but it feels like they just want to be a little bit careful. A courier round 2? I don't think so. Yeah, they're microing the courier around. They know something's wrong.
Okay, the courier is going like all the way around. It's actually going to go for the secret shop, so that's why it was kind of going in that direction. It's still not completely out of harm's way, but it looks like it should be fine. This courier also, by the way, looks freaking sweet. But they're now looking for mid lane, it seems. Night Stalker, Nighttime. What level is he? He's level 4. And it's time for diving, perhaps. They also are going to rotate in Heen. Level 3 Undying, although only 1 point committed. Earthshaker is here. The Tombstone is going to be dropped. Decay onto 2. They're onto Nagato. And that decay is going to hit them so hard. Blink forward, Pyre's going to completely dodge the avalanche. Fissure's going to land with 2, but the Earthshaker will fall. They have a toss, and that's about it. They'll kill off the Tombstone. March going to look to retreat, gets tossed up in the air, is going to stick up, will be just fine. They're going to continue this fight, at least they should. They're going to turn around, looking for the supports in the back line, but now MyPro, kind of all isolated, is going to hit with the silence, has another avalanche toss combo. And it's going to land onto the Queen of Pain, avalanche, spirits, no toss. Now here comes the haunt in. March is going to still charge forward. They take down the IO. MyPro's going to get great, but I don't think he's actually going to survive this. In the meantime, Boombell running away from the zombie isn't going to get that. MP gets stuck in the tree, so he's not going to get any of these kills, but he will get all the experience from it. That's going to be a huge trade for MVP. They actually just don't lose anyone there. Febby, I think he got a little bit of experience. Not all of the experience available. Yeah, just a couple of kills worth. But still, Signature Trust lose 4 heroes there as MVP collapse hard.
So we see the advantage of MVP's draft so far. Both Undying and Night Stalker are decisively tanky heroes. So for them, diving towers is really no big issue, whereas for Signature Trust, they're running significantly squishier heroes outside of the Tiny. So for them, they can't really go for those really risky plays. And for them, they can get bursted down so quickly. So for MVP, if they can just continue on going for this sort of play style and maintaining this for the majority of the game, forcing Signature Trust into a defensive position, I feel like they could definitely keep Trust under control. Up top, yeah.
Again, for Lakel's, the Scream misses, unfortunately, so that's a lot of damage down the tubes. March is going to get walled off by the Fissure. Lakel's does have a Scythe here, and it's not going to be lethal just yet. I don't think that'll kill. It'll drop him very low, but he will get away, at least for a Void, and that should secure Pyre to get this kill on this Dazzle, though he does have another heal. And there's the heals from Necrophos. The Queen of Pain, unable to get the burst kill, is not going to get the kill as promised, but now here comes the zombie. Drops a Tombstone in the middle of 4. It'll immediately get focused down. Heen will actually miss the soul if it's already dead. Now he's going to chain stun to death. Undying and Night Stalker falling, and it's not done yet because the Queen of Pain is going to run right into MyPro. Intercepts the Queen of Pain. Children's books for the Tiny. Got a perfect read on the Queen of Pain. And suddenly for Signature Trust, things looking not as bad. They take a 3-0. They get away with their Necrophos. I guess it wasn't as good as it could have been, so they didn't get the Scythe kill on the Night Stalker. But still, that is a massive lead. And not to Febby. Fissure, Avalanche, they don't see him, so they can't kill him. But still, this is supposed to be MVP's time to always be getting the kills and always taking the decisive fights. It's still nighttime, but soon it's not going to be.
I really like the playstyle coming out from Trust so far. They know the aggression coming out from MVP, and if they continue on letting MVP create that map presence and also just asserting themselves in the team fights, or in essence initiating the fights, then it's always going to be in favor of MVP. But Trust, if they try and initiate the team fights, it just turns out much more better for them, because at least they're going to be able to dictate the positionings of the fight and where the enemy's going to be. So for Trust, I like their style. If they can keep this up, they can definitely hang on versus MVP's draft. And for their late game with the Necrophos, I really think he's going to be okay up against the Spectre. They just have to make sure that those scythes land. And that first scythe, it's not bad. It's not an ag scythe. It's not 40 minutes into the game where death time is matter. So I think for him, it's a minor loss. It's a 30. I think it was like the 30-second extra death timer loss. It's not honestly that big, because they could buy back from that. But we may see essentially a diving scenario. But Heen and
they're up top. Tombstone's going to be deployed. MyPro's even getting haunted, throws the illusion away. They will kill off the IO regardless, and now they are actually onto MyPro right now. Again, they only have slows right now, and they don't really even have many slows here. Lakel's is kind of weak, but still coming in. Gets decayed, Scythe on Heen, not really going to do that much. Sonic Wave over 4! That's going to kill off no one yet, actually, just dropping everyone low. The burst is still pretty high, but with the sustain here from the Necrophos and the Dazzle, the Sonic Wave's effects not really being felt right now. Everyone else from MVP should get away, but it's about right now where they're really feeling the effects of having no crowd control effects. Like, they kill off the IO, and that's a nice kill, I suppose, but they use a Haunt for that. That's really expensive. MyPro, he's going to charge forward looking for someone else, but yeah, Signature Trust at this point are just refusing to die in the initial barrage, and still MVP don't have the track to help chase. That, not necessarily a crowd control tool, but giving yourself movement speed so that you can chase forward for those kills is probably going to be the difference down the line. If Febby had that, maybe they get another kill. Even with the great Sonic Wave, they only get one.
I really think so as well. But as you said, I think the main issue is that they don't have that catch. If they had a Disruptor, for example, then they would have been able to have the Glimpse, the Kinetic Field. They'd also have potentially a Static Storm to work with as well. Although I don't think they would have it this soon, because Bounty and Undying. Bounty just hits level 6 now, which is a really good timing for Bounty, whereas he's heading towards that level 6, about halfway. But I think Disruptor in particular would have been an awesome hero this game. Maybe even Skywrath Mage to an extent. Like, yeah, it's still a slow, but at least it's a major slow to work with. Because for the moment, it's mostly minor slows for MVP that they're relying on. And unfortunately for them, the opportunity to kill their heroes or the openings to try and get them are very slim. And unfortunately, Meta Protector is going to be hit by a combo by my pro. It won't kill him, but it'll drop him down to half. So it forces the salve at least.
Fissurious going to connect onto Heen. Febby needs to get close enough for this track. The cast range is huge. And, well, there's a Dazzle here. Suddenly killing off the Shaker, not really super likely. MVP, they try for it, but it's not nighttime phase, so not getting that kill, not really a terribly huge deal. They can throw out tracks at their leisure at this point. Spectre, in the meantime, has been farming in the bottom lane pretty quietly in this game. 1-0-4, a perfectly respectable score on Spectre. In fact, that's actually really good. Has grabbed Power Treads, has grabbed the Urn, the value items that are correct in this game to go for, and is probably now going to go straight for that Relic. If she can get that, then MVP, even if they start, messing up these fights and even giving a couple of kills away, will still be able to fight decently. Oh, QO going to go deep into this one. There's no Echo Slam on the Shaker. They're going to get a pretty nice heal bomb. Queen of Pain will jump away. Soul Rip will keep her alive, and she'll be fine in the end. A little bit too over-aggressive, maybe. But yeah, the Spectre is coming close to a point where her farm is going to allow MVP to make some mistakes. They obviously don't want to, but if those mistakes happen, it's not the end of the world. Oh, bottom lane, they're going to annihilate the Shaker. Oh, Blink screams Sonic. Easy kills. Unfortunately, no track, but pretty sure Queen of Pain's going to be okay with that kill regardless.
I think for MVP, they just can't wait for the track all the time, so just getting a really clutch kill like that is necessary every now and again. So I think for the moment for MVP, as the Spectre's continuing on farming, it's mostly going to be QO as well as Marsh to really be there to get the kills. Marsh in the meantime going to be Scythe in the top lane. Doesn't fully connect, but it's just enough of a disable to get MyPro the opportunity to throw the combo down. So nice kill going in the way of Signature Trust to get that Night Stalker. There is a Undying in the top lane, but I think Heen for the moment doesn't really want to try and contest with them. Although the Blink's going to be there, and Heen, I think he's going to get blown up. Okay, was not expecting the Blink dagger there, and unfortunately, there is going to be a death onto the Dazzle. No, there's no disables, unless they actually get the Shuriken. No, it's too late. It's too late, Febby. Oh no. I should have gotten that kill there. Should not have had that happen.
That feels so bad to use a Haunt, while at the same time giving up kills in the top lane and not get anything in response. I guess Queen of Pain at least didn't use Sonic Wave for that, but now she's going to get jumped. Avalanche Toss will not insta-kill her. One more punch, not going to do it. Pyrie's going to jump away, but in the meantime, March is going to dive right into the Shaker. Teleportation support is coming in. Shuriken will bounce. Echo Slam slowing down March even further. The toss, Chain Stun is perfect. March will get the kill in the end. He will definitely die here. Pyrie will throw a Scream, will get out of there. Shuriken bounce again for Febby, having some serious value. But the Night Stalker dying in the nighttime phase, not what MVP wants. At this point, Spectre needs to get a lot more farm. 2,300 gold, 2,400 is fine, but the other four heroes in this game, this should be their peak. This is second nighttime phase, a very young portion of the game. But if they're going in and dying as the Night Stalker, their momentum is going to be very, very harshly stopped every single time. And the fact that the Tiny now has a Blink Dagger, which is also super early, is going to mean he can go for these insta-kills. Maybe not, again, on this Queen of Pain, but really the pressure that this Tiny can apply, the sustain from Signature Trust, is enough to keep them at least afloat in this portion of the game. And then we're maybe looking towards later on where the Tiny's going to be getting that Aghanims, looking to power farm, and with the help of the Necrophos, handle the late game Spectre. I feel like MVP are just not quite getting enough at this early stage. They're going to run into the Shaker. With only MP here, I don't really know if they can do this. Febby, well, he's going to not throw the track just yet. Landed Janata hit, track is there. Easy, how are we going to run right into Lakells, who has a Scythe. Oh, they actually relocated to the behind, and now Spectre's going to fall. Oh, that's rough, and well, heroes are coming in. Heen is going to charge right in with March. Drops a Tombstone. MyPro is going to start focusing that Tombstone. In fact, they're all going to do it pretty easily. Alba, in the meantime, getting picked off by March in the background. Febby was going to start throwing out some tracks. He's going to get Scythe. Is that lethal? No, it's not. Sonic Wave through as QO finally arrives. They're going to surround Lakells and beat him down. No crowd control. Doesn't matter if he actually has nowhere to run. And that's going to be a 1 for 3. They lose the worst hero MVP, but they gain the Necrophos. Probably worth it in the end.
I don't think we've seen a successful Reaper Scythe this game. They've more or less been close, but not lethal. So I think Febby is going to be happy to not just survive, but even if he died, as long as he didn't die to the Reaper Scythe, at least the death timer wouldn't be so long. But that's what MVP needed. They needed a team fight that they won decisively, they got the kills necessary, and from that point on, hopefully they're creating space for the Spectre as normal. Winter Protector only sitting on 2.6k though, So he's getting close. We probably are going to be looking at a 20-minute Radiance, more or less. It depends if he manages to get more assists, more kills, or if he dies in the process. But it'll still be a good timing for MP. He hasn't really had anyone there to harass him. Although Lekels will be moving into the bottom lane and Relocate coming off cooldown in 5 seconds. So this might be an opportunity for Trust to try and go for another Relocate gank in any of the lanes that they feel very comfortable with.
They're probably not going to do that for another 40 seconds because it is still darkness, although they might have to back up Dazzle. No, Febby, he's chilling. If he chilled for a little while longer, maybe could have gotten a courier snipe, but not going to happen just yet. For Signature Trust to make aggressive plays during nighttime, they have to be very, very far ahead if they're going to feel comfortable with that. For right now, it's just reactionary relocates, but darkness is going to fade, and they might not even need to relocate to get this kill. Night Stalker, they need a Necrophos here, or a Shaker if they're going to get that. Again, for Signature Trust, going over aggressive is probably the best way to lose this the grasp on the game that they currently have. So sit back and just chill. Get some farm where you can, but even like not really farming that much during this nighttime phase isn't that big a deal for Signature Trust. Oh, they are going to run to a couple of heroes. Nighttime is going to fade. Nagato, though, very, very slow. Will get blown up as MP does haunt in. He has another illusion to jump to. They are going to get one kill, not track kill. But blink in, Pyre's immediately getting hit with the Echo Slam. Fissure Chain Stun is there. QO used the blink in, is gonna get soul rip. Toss, not quite gonna do it. Avalanche though afterwards will. Myfro blinked in. Now he doesn't have a blink out. However, here comes the Necrophos. They see that MVP and they will fall back afterwards. Looks like Lekel's a little bit late to the party, and everyone else will teleport out. Scythe, wait, Scythe was just used on someone. We killed off the Bounty Hunter with it on the bottom lane. Okay, that's why he's dead for so long. So yeah, Signature Trust now during the daytime. Now it's time for them to make their move, and it's going to be at least a tier 1 tower to drop first.
There is a Sonic Wave available, but does MVP attempt to defend this tower at all, or would they just give this away? I don't think they're going to come online on time really. I guess they still need the Haunt as well to feel comfortable. MP will get a top T1 though, which will be a little bit of a bonus for MVP, but losing a mid T1 hurts, because that means that you're not going to really have that reinforcing advantage if a team fight happens around that middle lane section. So I think for Trust, they've got to be pleased that they're hanging on so well up against this so-called aggressive draft from MVP. I thought MVP would be a lot more aggressive than this, but it's not quite so.
The sustain from Signature Trust really making the difference here. The level 4 Death Pulse, the level 4 Shadow Wave from the Dazzle, and obviously if you bounce any of those off of the IO tether, then the tether E is going to be getting double value, so it's a lot of extra sustain coming out from Signature Trust. And MVP, I mean, they're doing a pretty good job at dropping people low, but dropping people low actually doesn't matter, at least not on the team without the Necrophos. Then dropping people low matters. Whoa, frame rate, please. Okay, we're fine. Lekel's on the bottom lane, pushed by himself. Darkness is popped. Void can cancel the Blink Dagger. However, there's a fissure here. Lekel's also pretty tanky because he has the Dazzle right behind. They're going to look to blow up the Dazzle. Sonic Wave fails to get the kill. He's now going to grab himself. Boom Bell is now trying to charge forward for the Queen of Pain, but now here comes the Haunt. And the Spectre is going to come right in. They do lose the Dazzle, but they may also gain QO in response. Well, it's going to be Io to also fall. Abba going to fall afterwards. Lekel's in the middle of everything. He's going to throw the Scythe. Will not get the kill onto Marsh and will fall similarly. A 4-for-0 exchange in favor of MVP. That Haunt just completely screwed over Signature Trust, but I think it was really the initiation of the Queen of Pain onto the Dazzle. Getting rid of just one hero, getting rid of some of that sustain, and oh wait, that is going to be Bounty Hunter getting sniped in the bottom lane. My bad, guys. Myfro is going to grab at least one more for Signature Trust, but still, that was a massive trade for MVP.
That was huge for MVP, and they need to keep getting kills like that. They need to take decisive team fights to really get that dominance on the map. So for MVP, just slowly getting these objectives, it's going to be okay for the Spectre, but Spectre almost got that Radiance. So I think for all the effort that MVP has done into making space for MP, it's going to pay off eventually. It won't make MP immortal, it won't make him an absolute monster, but at least it's going to mean that the Spectre's haunts are going to start meaning something. It means that not just the Dazzle, but also the Wisp, being relatively fragile heroes now, they're going to struggle when the Radiance comes online, because they're probably going to lose, what, something along the lines of a third of their HP, maybe even half? And that's just going to be from Haunt.
I mean, for Signature Trust, they're actually going to smoke up right now. It's still daytime, so it's still a small opening. The only viable kill here is Heen. He has a Glimmer Cape. Do they have True Sight? They have a Sentry. That should be good enough. Blink forward. They have a Scythe. They have the Death Pulse. Heen is definitely going to be in the grave for a long time. There's your tombstone, Undying. Enjoy it. 70 seconds on the sideline. Signature Trust, they get the kill, they get the tower. And it is going to be darkness soon, but at this point, I think it's a little bit less of the Night Stalker being an absolute terror hero, and it's more so now the Spectre, which you can't really play around as far as the clock is concerned. It's really that haunt timing. But the Night Stalker does have his Aghanim Scepter. I mean, it's a decent amount of farm that March has accrued with the Radiance and the haunt now being available. Signature Trust, they're going to try to all in into this Roche pit. March is going to see them immediately. Febby's now going to have a chance to throw out some tracks. Thinking about it, we'll throw out the track on the Shaker, who is going to see Febby. They have all the time in the world. They have Perfect Vision, Sonic Wave all over everyone right now. Immediately that was going to fall in the eye shortly after his MP finally comes in. And they're going to get onto Lakel's. He's going to drop. They're onto the Shaker. They're onto MyPro. They're going to try to teleport away from the Tiny. He will get away. Now the Necrophos is going to try to buy back. They do end up, well, not killing the Spectre. There's no Scythe here from the Necrophos. Gets silent. Spectre's going to be able to kill him. Will slip away. Now the track onto Lakel's. They're going to chase him down. Dagger coming through. Blink Scream, not even needed. MP gets an ultra kill off of that one. And Signature Trust, it wasn't really the Spectre. It wasn't really the Sonic Wave, although that really did help. It was the Night Stalker's vision that won MVP that fight. They just crushed it.
So that's what MVP needed. And they also managed to take the Roche in the process, unless they do get a steal off, which is not going to happen. No one's nearby. So MVP take a decisive win. They take a massive objective, or they essentially steal it really for Trust, who softened up the Roche for them. So now they're going to be able to feel very confident around the map. I hope at this point though, they don't have the same thing happen as the last game where they get a little too overconfident.
No, Queen of Pain.
Oh,
she blinked into the trees, got stuck, and MyPro annihilated her. Heen's gonna try to 2v1 this. Not a good idea, Heen. You should probably leave right now. He will.
Yeah.
But, that's not overconfidence. That's just, you know, shit happens kind of play. But
yeah.
as long as they don't get overconfident, MVP with the Spectre may be able to just ride this into a late game victory.
I think so as well. It's just a matter of is MVP going to do that, or are they going to continue on just kind of splitting up and not? They feel like they're kind of doing their own thing, but at least they're still able to contribute something as the game progresses. Although I think that it's just they need to start taking towers. They've taken 2 T1s, which is great, and unfortunately MP he's going to get caught here by an Earthshaker. Is there anyone else to follow up? It's going to be Lakel. It's going to be Lincoln. They will slow up MP. Now there's no reinforcement, unfortunately. The Night Stalker is going to come in, but Night Stalker's not the hero you want. He's going to be Reaper Scythe. Does not finish off MP. Going to try Manfly. Abba though, he gets Abba in the process. For MP, he will die in the meantime. But is that it? Yep.
That's just the Aegis. They're still chasing after Boombell right now. He's going to haunt right over with the Radiance Burn. Grab the kill on the Dazzle. Can he jump over towards top? He does. The Dagger is going to connect, and Lakel's, he can't blink out of this one because of the Radiance. He's going to get intercepted even by March, although MyPro's going to show his face. They do see it coming. Track being thrown out by Febby. MyPro going to just be imposing, be scary. But after all said and done, MP gets another kill on the Shaker, which I'm sure Shaker didn't expect. They get a bonus kill on the Dazzle. Yeah, they end up losing their Aegis, but that's perfectly fine for the MVP side. I don't think either of those 2 kills were tracked, so that's kind of unfortunate for MVP. But still, as long as Spectre is surviving and getting kills, she's 8, 1, and 11. And we all know what Spectre can do in the late game.
I don't think this is going to reach the late game scenario if the game continues on at this pace. Because MVP, they're doing...
Pain, though.
Oh,
she's going to blink away. Soul Rip. Is the skull going to kill her off? It will. He now in a little bit of trouble. Has Glimmer Cape, but he doesn't have the mana to actually use it. Toss forward a zombie. He is going to Glimmer TP, and he's going to get fissured out of it. The Relocate is going to bring the IO out, but MyPro, he has a blink. Avalanche soon. Lakel's going to jump in. Scythe not available just yet. They'll kill off the Undying. 2 big kills for Signature Trust. But, you know, it's nice to kill off those heroes. Those deaths aren't on the Spectre. And at this point, they really need to kill off the Spectre if they're really going to make that worth it.
So it's just been really good play for Signature Trust here. They're still getting kills, even though they feel like they're still being a little confined because of MVP. They can't afford to get caught out as an entire team. So when they do find the opportunity, they will try and finish it up as soon as possible before the reinforcements come in, which is great. That's what Signature Trust has to do. Whereas for MVP, they need to force out these huge fights because that's when their spells really work. They have so much AoE. They have a Spectre Haunt to work with as well. So if you could just get them all to cluster up, take all the damage. And even with all the sustain for Trust, I really don't think they're going to be comfortable fighting into all of the AoE damage at MVP. So for Trust, they're hanging in there. Are they? What's this? What are the options available here for them? Do they just continue on in this fashion and hope that the Tiny can man fight the Spectre? Do they just farm up those split push items, the Assault Cuirass, possibly even a Maelstrom to boost up MyPro's attack speed to do that? Or do they just fight? Is it push or fight, or is it both? Feels like it could be both.
I feel like it's probably stall. I mean, the Tiny's still getting a lot of farm. He's going to find Febby with an avalanche. However, here comes the Haunt. They're all surrounded right now. March has full vision right now. They're going to get onto the Shaker, bring him down very quickly. The Relocate is going to come in from the Kells, give the Shaker a little bit more health. He lands an Echo Slam, but he will fall afterwards. MP in the middle of the fight will grab another one. So far, 3 down. So far, 4 down. The Kell's going to get chased down. Yeah, you don't want to fight here for Signature Trust. You want to stall. And that is not how you do it. The Spectre and the Night Stalker teaming up again with just perfect vision. And Signature Trust have really no good response there. MVP collapses in immediately afterwards. There were 3 tracks thrown out. I assume all 3 of those tracks ultimately led into kills. And for MVP, this is just like more cash in the bank. Signature Trust have to kind of hope that the late game Tiny, I mean, he doesn't even have to beat the Spectre in a 1v1 fight. He just has to bring the Spectre down to half so that Necrophos can finish the job. But if everyone keeps dying, and if the Spectre gets like way too fat with the heart or something like that, killing the Spectre off is just going to be a pipe dream. They're going to go for the tier 1 tower. It will be very easily dropped. Tier 2 will be defended. But Signature Trust getting way too far out. Like, being in the enemy jungle like that, that's not where they're supposed to be.
But I think the issue though is if they go into their own jungle, they're probably assuming that MVP has got wards in there so that they won't feel safe. So that might be a reason as to why they're in the enemy jungle, because you won't typically expect MVP to ward their own jungle for Signature Trust. Now, do they have vision of Pyre? Looks like they do, so they're going to try and converge onto the Queen of Pain. She will blink towards the tree line. They spot her out. Okay, this is just exactly the same thing that happened in the bottom lane, right? Blinks into the trees, gets spotted, and dies. Well, it's a sad story for the Queen of Pain.
Shit happens. Sometimes trees are just your natural enemy. I'm sure after this, Queen of Pain's going to play a Timbersaw game and just go ham. You know, pretty standard stuff. Or, you know, go to sleep because it's getting pretty late in C. But over towards top, MP got Mantis Style. He's going to throw a dagger towards Earthshaker, immediately force the TP out, and still do quite a bit of damage, actually. But this is the power of the Spectre at this stage. This has the Mantis Style, has the Radiance, really is lacking the health to stay in those fights comfortably. But it should be some sort of health item first, whether it's Scotty or Heart. Really makes minimal difference, as long as it gives her plus health. Signature Trust are really going to struggle to kill off the Spectre, and in the meantime, like, Spectre is going to get a lot of help. Glimmer Cape is up. Guardian Greaves completed on the Bounty Hunter. We even have a hood on the Night Stalker, actually. That's a pretty interesting one. Barrier is actually, or a pipe, rather. Pipe and barrier. That's the active skill. Is actually really good versus Signature Trust. Yeah, they do have some physical damage from the Tiny, but Necrophos is almost a pure, he is a pure magic damage carry. Earthshaker is almost purely magic damage as well, so you're not blocking the physical right clicks of Tiny, but you're blocking everything else. And if you could block out a Scythe, prevent someone from getting dropped by that, then that is going to be a super value pickup here from March.
I think if you're really worried about the Reaper Scythe, you'd probably just prefer to pick up a Glimmer Cape. Glimmer Cape is so good on it. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have more Glimmer Capes, right? If you had to pop a Glimmer Cape preemptively during the team fight, then at least you have a secondary one to work with. And
he thinks he's safe, but suddenly a million heroes out of nowhere. You can't hide. You can run, but you can't hide.
Yeah. If he had a blink dagger, he could blink, but no blink.
Well, he could blink and then Spectre's just gonna haunt, and then he's gonna die anyway. This is like so
life
spooky.
is rough. Typically, you'd be safe hiding in the trees, right? But then Night Stalker, he just sees everything.
Raquel's.
Oh no!
The Shuriken's gonna miss, but now he's gonna come in with the Decay. Spectre thinking about going in, but going into the tier 2s like that, kind of risky. Relocate has already been used. They just have to wait 11 seconds. They are gonna haunt in. Marsh's gonna take an avalanche, but that's about it. The illusions for MP just gonna annihilate everyone in the background. Sonic Wave's gonna fly through. Nagato's gonna fall. Dazzle may fall as well. And now MyPro's left without support. March has a crippling fear in 1 second. Abba's gonna walk right in, looking for an Echo Slam angle. Can't really find it. He's gonna get it only onto Febby, and he will fall afterwards. Necrophos is forced to buy up the second time he's had to do so. But he's the only one alive right now. He's going to try to go for Pyre, who for some reason is near the enemy fountain. Is going to end up dropping to a toss. But that's going to be a 5-for-1 exchange in favor of MVP. They force out 2 buybacks. The buybacks are only going to get 1 kill. And the Spectre still survives. They can even go for more right now if they're able to get any sort of disable here. They get the track onto MyPro, bounce a Shuriken over to him. And it looks like that should just about be it. But another disastrous fight from Signature Trust. At this point, Spectre's damage, I mean, we just saw it in the last fight. That was absolutely disgusting how much damage she did to the back lines of Signature.
I really don't think it matters what this Dazzle or Wisp do. They just can't out-heal all this damage coming in from MVP anymore. There's just so much. And unfortunately for them, MVP's doing the right thing. The Spectre's always jumping on the Dazzle, always jumping on the Wisp to make sure that they're the first ones to go down so that MVP can't, sorry, not MVP, that Signature Trust can't really fall back onto the heals on their team. So really good decision making coming in for MVP to just get rid of the supports first and to isolate those carries from their defensive heroes. So it's been a good place for MVP. They've made the right decisions. They picked a draft which we were both a little bit curious about as to whether it was going to work because they had so many melee heroes and felt a tad bit greedy, but it's working. So for them, I think from now on it's uphill for them as long as they maintain this style. Just keep going for those supports. You honestly can just ignore the Tiny because Mypro is not really that big of an issue if you just avoid the Tiny. He can get an Avalanche Toss combo, that's fine. As long as it's onto something like a Night Stalker or an Undying who can tank the damage, your team is going to have no issues dealing with the Tiny. So from now on, they're going to be very confident with their positioning, and you can see why. March giving all the vision in the world to Febby so we can get those tracks off, and the Kells, you don't really want to leave base. He will get tracked up, so he'll have 100% vision of him regardless. And now Signature Trust, they're going to fall back onto what Tiny and Wisp is really famous for. Just tower trades after tower trades, hoping that they get the favorable trade. They will get the T2 successfully, whereas MVP do no damage to the T3 as of yet.
Well, the Kells walking forward. This is not going to be punished. Looks like it will be just an even tower trade for right now, but MVP, they do know about Roshan being up, and they probably want to go for that. After taking down some heroes, Mypro going to jump straight into the Queen of Pain. He getting cooked with the Avalanche, so he can't get the Glimmer out, but he's going to pop the Flesh Golem, looking for the Io Tiny. They do haunt in, and the Illusion's going to mess up the heroes over in the mid lane. The Io is going to have a tether target up towards the north, but Shuriken should follow and should interrupt that. Oh, unless you just don't cast it. They get the track out. He's going to try to TP out with the Void. That will not happen. MP is going to grab the last hit there. Now has enough gold for his heart. It's a good trade for Signature Trust to make. If they can get the Aegis, it's going to be even better. They're going pretty quickly, but Night Stalker is closing in fast. They need the Spectre to have a haunt at this stage, or travels or something, but it seems like Signature Trust, with the Sacrificial Io, are going to be able to secure themselves a double life. March is going to get clipped with a fissure, sees everything, but realizes it's too late. Double life for Tiny. That's a big exchange for Signature Trust.
It is. If MVP was a little bit closer, would you have expected MVP to just still go all in and fight Trust in the Rosh Pit? Yeah? Oh yeah,
for sure. Like Queen of Pain, as much damage as she's doing, it's really the Spectre who, if she's up and in the fight, MVP will be able to take it. If Spectre's not alive and if she's not in the fight, then that's when you avoid that at all costs.
So so with the flow of the game currently for Signature Trust, they're still hanging on by a thread. It's mostly going to be relying on the Tiny Wisp up until the Necrophos comes online. So they're just going to be playing that turtle style of Dota at this point, right? Because if you leave your base, you get spotted by the Night Stalker, you get jumped on by 10 million heroes, and then you lose your life. And you never want to use buybacks because I think these heroes are all starved for farm, aside from Tiny, who is gone for a Moonshard. You don't typically see this item pickup unless you're close to being completely 6-slot.
I don't mind this right now. Again, Tiny doesn't have to beat the Spectre. He just has to drop her down to half HP. So if you just like go a little bit more aggressive as the Tiny, get this Moonshard up and just land a couple more shots, then you can actually bring her down with the Reaper Scythe afterwards, which is soon to be Aghanimed. Necrophos not really farming up all that much. In fact, he's being out-farmed by the enemy Bounty Hunter, which is, thank you, track gold. But, yeah, I mean, this is, I think, a justifiable position here for the Tiny. He's not really being focused either. At least when he is taking the focus, all of his allies are already dead, so you might as well just go fully aggressive. Smoke's going to run into each other right now. March can pop Darkness, and here comes the Haunt. It's on to 3 heroes who really don't have any great way to deal with this Haunt, though they do throw out a Fissure. Boombell is going to try to run away to the right side. MP is right on his tail. We'll get that kill. Blink forward now from Pyre. He's going to slow down the Earthshaker a touch. They see Lakells. Night Stalker, he needs to get here a little bit faster for the Void. Necrophos going to live. That was a Haunt being used just for a Dazzle kill. That is not worth it for MVP unless they get some sort of objective afterwards. The only objective possible is up towards top for a tier 2. And for Signature Trust to actually disengage from that, from the Haunt, from the Darkness, it's actually a pretty big deal for them, only losing the Dazzle.
So it's going to be one small asset not available there for MVP, but Signature Trust, do they really want to defend this top T2? I think at this point they're just going to have to give away all their outer towers and hope that they're going to be able to survive the fights within their base. Although MyPro, he's going to try and jump for MP, but you're by yourself. Oh, they can actually bring Kelsen, can actually finish off MP. Glimmer Cape's going to be there to keep him alive, and Febby, he picks up the Wisp. Reaper Scythe onto Febby, it's just going to be a bounty hunter there, but Pi actually gets knocked to death by MyPro. I think MVP kind of underestimating the damage that MyPro is capable of. Was not expecting the relocate by Lakels though. That was very interesting, but definitely working in their favor. And Abba going to isolate Heen. Oh no, he's not going to get out. Relocate or not, yeah, he is definitely dead. But we still have MyPro trying to man fight MP, although he looks like he's going to die in the process. He has the Aegis, so he really doesn't care, but his teammates unfortunately are going to get turned by zombies and ghosts. And unfortunately, Night Stalkers. Now, can they lose the kills? It looks like he's going to get out. No, the Void's there. They managed to pick him up. Now the Earthshake is trying to run away from zombies. He will go down in the process with the dagger. There is still a Tiny, but he's by himself. Boomdoll's here, but he's going to melt to MP. I think MP is slightly overextended. He's going to have the Glimmer Cape that just keep him alive, so the Spectre's going to be fine.
Died to the illusions.
Oh no. Life is not easy as a Dazzle, unfortunately. Are they going to turn onto the Tiny again? Nah, he'll blink out. Oh, they do spot him
here for MP, but it seems like they should be happy with that. Ultimately, everyone in Signature Trust end up going down, whereas for MVP, they only lose those two heroes that are currently dead. And I believe it was a Scythe kill on the Bounty Hunter, so additional respawn there, but he wouldn't have been active in that fight anyway. Spectre, I mean, that first initial part of that fight where they tried to handle the Tiny, I think it was just MVP kind of getting caught off guard by the fact that he has Moon Shards and that much damage. He was very happily tanking everything, while at the same time getting a little bit of help from the Necrophos, obviously. But then right afterwards, Signature Trust got surprised by the fact that MP has a Heart, I think. Like, they maybe forgot the fact that Heart has that broken regen, and Tiny tried to look for the Spectre, who was, you know, just limping out of there after the initial fight, but with just a couple of seconds of regeneration, Spectre's going to be back up at full HP, and now has 5,200 gold. Yeah, maybe like a Butterfly or something for the Spectre, or a Diffusal Blade, both of which would be pretty decent. The Spectre just survived for so long, and for MVP, they also came in with the heavy hitters. Night Stalker coming in with the Undying, who actually got away, and because he got away, is going to grab an Aghanim Scepter, so we got the 10 strength swing now on the Undying. If he continuously lives for as long as he has been living, it's not just going to be 10 strength, it's going to be like at least 50.
And how much strength do you have to steal to have the same strength as a Reaver, or like something along the lines of 40-ish? How much was it? I can't remember.
With what now?
How much strength do you have to steal to make it equivalent to a free Reaver?
I mean, just one decay, right? Like, you're not going to land one person decays. Reaver gives you 25. I guess 2 and a half.
2.5.
But you should get that in one decay, right? Like, unless you're just in a corner like Heen was. But it's not the fact that you get a free Reaver that's really relevant. It's the fact that you take away the strength from the enemies. And that's like a form of damage that you can't actually protect yourself from at all. I guess by just like having more strength to start things off, but like magic resistance isn't going to help you when you lose strength. Nothing really helps you against that, so that's a big swing item for the Undying, and oh, March gonna run into a Night Stalker illusion, gank him. Oh no, he uses his Flesh Golem for that. It's not the longest cooldown in the world, but I guess they got fooled. But they're still looking for these kills up towards top lane. There's no one here, but Spectre in the meantime is farming it up and has almost the Butterfly completed once the Courier, you know, decides to ferry out those final items. MVP, this is really going to be the hardest part of their game. How do they actually break high ground? Because they didn't get the last Rosh. The next Roshan is going to be in God knows how long. I guess they still have a lot of farm time for the Spectre, but they don't really want to give it too much, give the Necrophos and Tiny too much time to farm, because Necrophos already has that Aghanim Scepter and level 3 Scythe. This is going to hurt like hell, especially if you catch the Spectre with it.
Unless they can manage to catch them outside of the base, which Signature Trust, they decide to smoke up and they're going to go into their own jungle to find somebody. Unfortunately, everyone is gone, aside from MP, but he's going to TP back to base, so it's going to be a wasted smoke on Signature Trust's end, which is very unfortunate for them. They were hoping to get a kill so that they open up the map for them to continue to farm it up on their Tiny, which doesn't happen. So, with Signature Trust, it's a smoke loss. As long as they don't lose heroes in the process, they're going to be okay with this. Obviously, getting a hero would have been nice, but MVP's on the other side of the map. So Signature Trust, looks like they're just going to hoof it home at this point. And, oh, they will TP the Tiny in the mid lane there. Fabi managing to track him up so that MyPro won't be able to just go for a surprise blink in. They should see this coming.
Well, still with this Aghanim Scepter on the Night Stalker, it's going to be really hard for Signature Trust to leave their base on a single unit basis. It is going to be daytime, in fact, like now, or in a couple seconds. Why the hell isn't it at 40 minutes? Shouldn't it be now? It's 7 seconds off. That's just really weird.
It's
it should
Dota.
be every 4 minutes. What's going on, game?
It's Dota. You just have to accept it as it is.
I'm so disappointed in Ice Frog right now. But either way, he has Darkness level 3, so the uptime for the Vision is going to be there more so than not. And at this point, MP, even though he doesn't have that butterfly complete, he actually is saving for buyback. They can go for kills on anyone, really. Ooh, Shaker is going to get caught out, but he does have a Force Staff. No Blink just yet. He should be going for that one next. He's going to slide back into his base. While Signature Trust are scared, corralled into their base, they're actively not farming. Oh, MyPro's going to jump in by himself. Super risky from the Tiny. Just wanted to grab a Demon Edge. Is not going to end up being punished. Boombell, however, may be punished. He's going to grave himself, but he has no escape here. He's going to try to TP out. Shuriken, Febby. What's the deal, man? They do kill off the Dazzle in the end. Did he even track the Dazzle? Was that a track kill?
I didn't see a track.
I think it was. He threw out 2 tracks in the fight recap. MyPro's going to jump in for the Avalanche Toss. Will kill off the creeps. I was going to get tracked himself again. Help a little bit from Nagato. But that was a really weird lack of play from Febby. Like, cast something, dude. Come on.
I was probably watching something else. It happens. It happens. But with the Dazzle down, MVP still not feeling confident enough to go high ground. It really does seem like they're just waiting for the Roche. Roche is up now. So if they do check it, which I hope they do, Febby, check Roche, no, check, no, no.
He'll do it.
Yes.
It's
yes.
fine.
Yes, he and the heroes. They do spot out the Roche. They will attempt this. And Signature Trust, they feel confident enough to leave their base, but do they know that Roche is happening?
Well, it's not really happening. Really, Signature Trust, if they go in overcommit right now, well, MyPro's going to blink in. Sees nobody. Sees Heen retreating. Gets tracked for his trouble. Haunt status, not up for another 45. They do deploy the Tombstone. MVP expecting a fight here. With no Haunt, it's going to be an opening for Signature Trust. Not really a super big one. Not really one where they're really guaranteed to get much of anything. But that window is closing in just 30 seconds, so Signature Trust at least bust out of their base, get a little bit of farm for whatever that's worth. I don't really know if it's going to translate into any items, but they're still looking to contest this Roche. And this is where as Spectre, at least in Spectre in 15 seconds, you can just go up towards top lane and start split pushing Pat. And then once you see a relocate coming in, you just pop Haunt and book it. Or you just wait for the fight to start, in which case you just go in. Oh, MyPro's going to land Avalanche of Heavy. Here comes the Darkness here from March. He's going to land the Crippling Fear onto the Tiny. Suddenly Mischance is there. Pyre going to land a pretty big Sonic Wave in the backline. Now here comes the Haunt. They're going to drop Nagato super low immediately. He's going to try to relocate out, and it looks like he will get out. But everyone else, they're trapped. Lakel's, in fact, stuck in his own fissure. They're going to split with the Mana Style onto Tiny, kill him off. Lakel's looking for a Scythe kill. He won't even get the cast off, and they'll also take down another as Alba's going to try TP out. Gets canceled by the Void. MP has a dagger in 3 seconds. They're going to force that in. Tombstone to destroy the trees and take down a 4th hero. MVP taking a 4-for-0 trade. And now here comes the Doom push. There is a buyback on the Necrophos. However, there is no buyback on the Tiny because he bought an MK beforehand. Clear to see how much work that did in the last fight. Pretty much negligible. Now the Roshan is going to be cleared out first. It should be cleared out very, very quickly, but MVP, they take a decisive win. They don't even let Necrophos get his scythe out.
Well, why would you let him get a scythe out? So I think at this point for Trust, they're in the same situation as MVP last game. MVP, they have asserted so much control on the map that Trust, they're trying to go for these kills. They're trying to move out of the base and at least trying to get something in the process, but just every time MVP are cleaning house. And with the Aegis now, what are the chances of Signature Trust actually killing off the Spectre? Because, yeah, Tiny can drop him low, you can Reaper Scythe him, but there's no secondary Reaper Scythe. So there's just no more damage to kill off the Spectre. And if you use it all to kill the Spectre, then how do you deal with the rest of the team? And unfortunately, Abba gonna get jumped on by the Queen of Pain. He will force staff out, so there's gonna be no kill going in the way of Pyre. And all of a sudden, with the Tiny down for 24 seconds, the Raxes are exposed. And they're going down so quickly. And there's no point in Tiny buying back, it's just wait.
He's gonna get Scythe kill. No, he's
No!
not. The Guardian Greaves come in
Oh.
perfectly in time, plus the Glimmer Cape from his buddies. They're gonna jump in, look for the Dazzle. He's gonna die to the Soul Burn if nothing else. Pyre gonna draw that kill, corralling everyone for Signature Trust back in the base. Right now, they don't really want to fight because they don't have Haunt, but that's gonna be up in just 5 seconds. And at this point, Spectre with the Heart can tank towers, no problem. Dazzle being down means no grave. Tombstone gonna be deployed prematurely. As Apple's gonna land a Fissure onto 3. They're going to drop the Tombstone pretty quickly, and it will be successful. Now MP is going to dive right in, use the Haunt to get a couple more illusions for additional damage output, chasing everyone back into their fountain. They're onto Abba. The Shaker's going to fall. Nagato dying to the illusions in his own fountain. They're going to pick off Lakel's. Yes, they will. He's not going to get any Scythe kills. MyPro's going to beat down the Night Stalker, but he's going to lose all of his allies afterwards. Lakel's doesn't have the Scythe right now. He's going to blink into nothing. Buyback from MyPro. Buyback from everyone, really. Can they even bring down the Spectre's Aegis? They'll toss up the Queen of Pain, fail to kill her off. This is a whole bunch of track kills. That was a panic smoke by someone from Febby. He's in the tier 4 tower range. He's going to get dropped. MP needs to back off for a couple seconds to get a little bit of regen. Heen will die to the toss. Signature Trust burn all of their buybacks, get a couple of kills. However, they do not kill the Spectre, who's going to flutter out of there with 9,000 gold. Jesus, MP can buy Moon Shards, chow down on that one, and still be fine for later. I guess Signature Trust kind of hold. MVP were going for a game-winning push, not a Rax-taking push there, as they kind of did dive the fountain a little bit. But still, the fact that they lost a couple heroes isn't really going to be super relevant. They all have buyback. Spectre is going to run into Lakel's right now. This is not a man fight that Lakel's wants. MP still has the Aegis as well. He's going to just dagger and leave. However, he has no TP scroll, so he's going to have to get to the side shop. This is actually the best chance for Signature Trust to get this kill on the Spectre. If they can peg her down, sell the treads, grab TP, start it up. No avalanche just yet. MP's gonna dodge it. Whew, that was close. So now he's gonna replace the treads with Scotty. Seems like a pretty decent upgrade. And travels, because that seems necessary. Yeah, MVP are now all filthy rich. So there's that.
Not just filthy rich. They are, you could say they're covered in blood. Although MyPro, it looks like he wants to find his own bit of blood here, and he will be spotted out by March, unfortunately, so that's going to foil their potential gank onto the Queen of Pain. Instead, it's going to turn around. Unfortunately, Dazzle just gets bursted down Nagato, and the tree line going to try and get out of there. He will tether out. He's so close to dying, but the scream, the hit, and Pyre kills him off, and all of a sudden, it's just MyPro by himself trying to hoof it out of there. Although Pyre, he's there with the blinks. The scream actually misses, so that's not really going to connect onto MyPro. And he's really far out, but no one going to commit onto either side. But the rest of MVP, they're barreling down mid lane. These Raxes are exposed. And unfortunately for Signature Trust, they have 3 buybacks down. They've got 1 left on the Dazzle. Wisp is none on himself, so can they defend these Raxes? I really don't think they can unless they have the entire draft.
They have to kill off everyone and then try to leave the Spectre to last. She still has a minute worth of Aegis, and in that minute, they're going to claim the rest of the buildings. This is the time for Signature Trust to make a play if they're going to make a play at all. They have 4 heroes. It's not going to get any better than this. And Queen of Pain is stuck on the front lines. Blink forward. Avatos. Scythe. Not going to be committed just yet for Lakel's. He actually cancels it. Pyre's going to slip away with Sonic Wave. They're going to blow up MyPro with mostly just the illusions for MP. The rest of the Hauntlings in the fountain right now, corralling everyone for Signature Trust back into their regen. And that is going to be good enough. They don't get the kills on really necessary heroes. They get the kill on only 1, but they do force out the GG. Whatever works, right? It's going to be MVP taking 1 game, Signature Trust taking the other. MP sitting in the fountain, you know, casually taking the shots, is going to be living. Alright, so it seems like, yeah, we're a little bit too late to get into the second draft. Unfortunately, MVP took a little bit too long to win there. But either way, they're going to claim their win, so especially after the last game, they should be feeling pretty good about that. I'm going to actually try to wrap this up really quickly because Stark going up against London Conspiracy or Princess Jalopy, whichever you prefer, is going on right now. It's going to be on our secondary channel, however, guys, so you're going to have to you know, maybe move places if you are on the Azubu site. Just add an _2 to the end of it, and you'll be seeing Stark going up against Jalopy. Grandis is on it right now. I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Daneliecasts. It's been a pleasure casting these C games for you. Congratulations to, I guess, MVP Phoenix for getting 1 point out of this. I would expect them to tie, and they did. Again, more European games coming up. Stark going up against London Conspiracy, 4 Clovers going up against Pub players, then some American games down the line. But for right now, guys, follow us on Twitter, at Mikelorus, at Daneliecasts. Go to the other channel, and we'll be back some other time.